This Halloween collection is nothing like you've seen before. With rows of stuff to look at, it feels like this collection is never ending. There's everything from animatronics to skeletons, witches, rats, a cemetery, and so much more. I never seen a Halloween animatronic collection this big, so I knew I had to check this out. The owner, Dave Newman, decorates his house every year and is more than welcoming when it comes to people wanting to visit. He likes spending his time standing outside while cars pass by, and people love it. So he obviously likes Halloween. I think that's clear, but I had to ask one question.
How did I start? Well, I got divorced. In the first year, I was separated from her. I did it the way we always did it, all corn stalks, hay bales, all real nice, but I had an attitude. My dad did a lot of wood cutouts, and I asked him to make me a middle finger for my scarecrow. And some neighbor lady came in the yard, looked at it, came back to me, "You do have a middle finger. I have children." So I threw it off into the backyard, and the next year I started with tombstones, and that was 30 years ago. Now, if you build it, they will come.
Now that we know the backstory, let's take a look around this ginormous Halloween collection. There is so much to see, it is crazy, so we might as well start from the beginning. Right in the front here, you have this pumpkin skeleton. That's pretty unique. I've never seen anything like that. Big spider, of course, and these two skeletons riding a motorcycle. If you thought you saw it all, you haven't been to this collection. Now, how could I not point this out? You got a bunch of skeletons hanging out and having some fun. And over on this side, you can see all the fan art and letters he gets. But I think one of the most interesting things is here, where you can see the beginning of his collection. This is what it started with, and then it just grew to what it is today. But now let's actually enter this crazy maze of stuff. Over here, you have zombie babies and everything else. The zombie babies are very nostalgic to me because I always used to get them when I was younger because they were the cheapest thing at Spirit. I always used to see this one in YouTube videos back then, but that hasn't been in stores for at least 14 years. And there's even more zombie babies on this side. I remember almost all of these. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, that I either remember a thing from Spirit Halloween or I used to have that. I love Spirit back then, so seeing all these old props is really nostalgic to me. I remember these two were at Spirit Halloween in 2010. That was the first year I ever went to Spirit, and this exact zombie baby I used to have. On the other side over here, I just wanted to throw this guy in there because I remember this animatronic. It came out in 2011, and this may be the only time I've ever seen it since then. But of course, I can't forget to point out all of this stuff that actually move around and sing. All you gotta do is push the button, and there they go. And really, this is the type of collection where you could see it once and still miss a bunch of stuff. It reminds me of the American Treasure Tour Museum I went to, where it's just rows of things to look at. This is basically that, but if it was all Halloween. Even the trees have stuff on it. You got ghosts, skeletons, spider webs up there. There's no area that can escape not getting a Halloween decoration on it. On this table, you have some more stuff that moves around. Let's see what this bear does. And look at this guy, he goes crazy. And wow, speaking of nostalgia, this is the most nostalgic to me out of this whole place. The first time I ever went to Spirit in 2010, my grandma bought me this exact witch, and ever since then, I was obsessed with Spirit Halloween. I am so happy to see that. We're still just going around this one tree. That's how much stuff there is. You got some of these guys. I had this exact one, and there's even this funny video clip with it.
This baby's got it! Oh, the baby's head came off!
We killed our baby.
And at the bottom, look guys, it's me, Crow. Is anyone laughing? Of course, you gotta have a bunch of skulls. It's not Halloween without that. And trust me, there's no shortage of them here. Here's something I never seen. Skeletons doing yoga poses. That's definitely a first. Now over here on the next section, you have a couple witches, this teddy bear that, can you guess it, I used to have. And at the end, you have this grandmom skeleton. Over here in the middle, you have this tank with soldiers on it. And what's interesting about this is not only does he do Halloween decorations, but he also does every other holiday. And right next to that, you have this unfortunate lady that's about to die, but I can't tell if it's gonna be from these rats coming out of her or this wolf. You guys can pick. Either way, she's done. Now next to all of that is whatever's going on here. It looks like every witch and wolf in town teamed up to sacrifice this dude. And this has to be the craziest trick-or-treat bowl you've ever seen. It's filled with eyeballs and fingers. I think I'll pass for now, but maybe I'll come back later. And at the end of all of that is just bones. But not just regular human skeletons, there's almost every creature you can think of. Like rats, turtles, fish, snakes, and even a horse. And the horse happens to be pulling these three people, and in the middle you can see this girl died and still put makeup on. I've never seen anything like it. On the side of the house, you reach the cemetery. Greeting you are these two headless people, and they even have a kid. So sweet. Entering the cemetery, you'll see all the tombstones with different sayings on them. Like this one that reads, "Crispy Bacon." How emotional. And don't worry, these people are not forgotten because they have visitors. They're all piled up on this bench to sit right next to each other. but I guess some of them had enough and came back alive, as you can see with this zombie or these two on swings. Well, either they came back alive or they just unfortunately look like that. As you make your way to the back, passing by all these witches, you'll see this wall covered in random stuff, with my favorite things being these dancing fish. Whether they're dead, alive, or the shark from Jaws, they will be dancing around in this cemetery. Now, as great as all of that was, I had to save the best for last, and that would be this section. There is so much good animatronics here, and I don't even know where to start. I guess I gotta point out this guy. I remember seeing this exact animatronic in Spirit Halloween in 2011. I remember thinking how cool it was that he was so big, and now here he stands 13 years later. Next to him, you have a headless woman, a creepy zombie baby. I mean, really, what does this place not have? You even have aliens, in case you thought he forgot. On the other end of the house, you have these two, Freddy and Jason. And to me, this is some of the most classic animatronic Spirit has ever made. I'm so glad to see them on display here. At least, I think that one's from Spirit. I know he is, though. But they definitely did have a Friday the 13th one back in 2008 or 9. And in the middle here, even the stairway has been covered by Halloween stuff. But more specifically, you can see there's a bunch of rats and spiders. I can't even count how many, but there's definitely a lot. And don't forget snakes. They're all along the pathway. On the top of the house, you have a bunch of spiders and that guy in the middle. That's like the big thing you see from the street. It immediately catches your eye, and then you have to look at everything else below it. But I saved my favorite animatronic for last, and that would be this guy in the middle. This exact wolf I remember seeing at Spirit Halloween in 2010, and it's a big part of the reason why I became obsessed with Spirit back then. The whole circus theme they had going on was awesome, and this one was a part of that, and I've always liked it ever since. I can't believe this is 14 years old now. And the best part is he actually still works, which is pretty cool because with old Spirit Halloween props, you never know if they're gonna break, but he still works. Hey! Again! You gotta scream at it. Now, just to show how much stuff there really is, I thought that was the end, but I failed to mention all the stuff on the fence. I can't get into everything, but you really forget how much is here. And apparently he actually got rid of some stuff this year, so this isn't even it at its most. Now, for the video, I wanted to come during the day so you could see everything, but to really get the full experience and make it feel more like Halloween, you have to see this at night, so that's exactly what I did. I came back later in the day to see all the lights on and the animatronics moving around. It definitely has a more Halloween feel when you visit at night. And it wasn't surprising when he told me that he can get up to 500 trick-or-treaters during Halloween. But when you have a collection like this, that shouldn't be a surprise. No matter if you're a kid or an adult, anyone can appreciate this. I really enjoyed looking at this collection. If I was still a kid, this place would have been better than Disney World. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, and I am now selling merch. Click the link in the description to get yours today.
My favorite holiday is Easter, though. That's because I don't decorate.
That's a good reason.